guys, I just wanted to upload this video. I was doing it off camera, and the reading came together so well that I thought I should record this and post it. I was just watching a video on mystery disappearances that have not been solved, and there was a case out of the UK, out of Yorkshire, from 2020. Actually, from March, the case, the fellow went missing around March 20, what was it, 23rd, I think it was, of 2020, right at the time of the pandemic, and people were having to, um, you know, not visit, do that kind of stuff. He was 16 years old and he had a girlfriend that he was crazy about. And believe you me, that came through in the reading that he really loved her, was over his head and heels in love with her and wanted to visit her. So March 26th it was. He got in an argument with his mom, and that's how they call their mother. And she forbade him to go. But he snuck out of the house. She didn't know he'd left. And he did make a phone call to his girlfriend. They had a good chat, which is nice to know. And they ended up on a cheerful note. She had just had an argument with her mom over, I think, the similar issue. Uh, and then he told her that he was going to go watch a sunset or by the cliff. Um, and there he was, like I say, was in Saltdean, which is, well, I did just say Yorkshire, but Saltdean, and so he's near the cliffs. And and I decided to use the Oracle of the Rose and read in and see what I could pick up. Now, I'm not going to go through all the cards. I've since shuffled and put them back, but I did write it all down. So I'm going to share with you what I got. And I wrote down the number of the cards I was getting. So this is for the disappearance of Owen Harding, who was 16 at the time of going missing, March 26, 2020, out of Saltdean, Yorkshire, UK. And so he headed toward the cliffs. There's proof of that on CCTV that he was going down Long Ridge Avenue, which ended up going right toward the cliffs as he indicated that he was going to do. And that was the last person that he spoke to would have been his girlfriend, and the camera the that caught him on the Long Ridge Avenue walking towards the cliffs caught his last images. Now, the first card I got for him was the Gentleman, and it does display uh, a young man that resembled him. Now I'm just going to change the screen so you can see what he looked like. So this is the handsome young 16-year-old at the time, Owen Harding, that went missing from Saltdean. Okay. All right. Now, the image of the young man as the gentleman really, it just was uncanny. But anyway, and he's wearing a top hat and he has a lantern like he's out and about, just like Owen was. It just, gave me the same vibe. And the card that came with it was Lighthouse. Now, there isn't necessarily a lighthouse there, but there's one that they said is, I don't know, looked like a lighthouse to me, was the Saltdean Lido. And it's a little lighthouse looking area. You can look it up on Google if you want to, which was connecting off from that Long Ridge Avenue. So it's possible he could have gone past that area or something. But I think he ended up at the cliffs. Um, and I get that his mind was really on his girlfriend and feeling that they were soulmates. Um, and that he was by himself alone. He got solitude and he got that full moon. It was just really clear to him how much he loved her. uh, and the Cupid card, uh, and the card of gentleness, which made me feel, and I really feel like he was kind of connecting to me and letting me know that he was, I think, a bit sorry for the exchange he'd had with his mom. And he was feeling more gentle. He was feeling more calmed down now. And I think, if nothing else, it could have just also been at how he in love he was with her. But he had intuition. He had intuition plus TikTok cards, which is a gut feeling, and it's on. There's God's timing, um, and it deals with fate. And I think this was something that, as hard as it may be to understand, that was an exit that he had in life that as a potential. And I think that he just so happened to go through that door. Um, so we're given divine timing and fate, and then we're given the cards of innocence and tower. And looking up what the tower meant in this oracle was erosion, collapse, crumbling, fragile ground, weak foundation. So there is weak earth, weak ground, and giving way that could have been due to like the eclipse erosion. We have that where I'm at the coast side, and you got to be careful. And then the innocence card to me just showed that he wasn't conscious of, there was no foul play, there was nobody up to anything, um, and neither was a he. It was just an innocent circumstance where he steps on crumbling ground that gives way. And I don't think he was aware of it because I think his mind was with his girlfriend. His mind was really focused there. And so we get this foundation crumbling. And I get in my mind's eye a struggle as that fall goes, it taking him down. And I felt that he went into water and that the debris went into water. And unfortunately, I felt like he struggled. He really tried, um, but I feel like he got pulled out to sea. And I thought, I'm going to check up on this area. And I looked online and I read the initial thing, and they had an oceanographer come and check out. And they said apparently that he would have been pulled out to sea at the time if there had been an unfortunate accident. And that made sense to me because I'd already picked it up in my reading. So I found that confirmation. So as I put eroding ground at the cliffs and ended up falling as the ground crumbled, he ended up in the water. And despite trying to endure, he got the card of strength and trying to save himself. I think he was also very injured. I just don't, he got the card of an ending. Um, so it was kind of unfortunately an exit that he had for himself, and it happened. He was not able to save himself, and nobody would have been. I have a feeling it went and happened very quickly. Um, and I do believe that there may have been rock or an area where maybe just ground, I don't know, maybe things that came loose with him that may have caused him a great deal of injury. I think he was really quite injured, and despite it, still was trying, but could not make it, was pulled out to sea. And his mind had been on his girlfriend and a very positive love before this happened. It was Sutton, also with the tower, and it was a quick passing. I didn't feel like, even though he struggled, I think he was gravely enough injured that he passed quickly. Um, so I think he was pulled out to sea, as I wrote, and I got that confirmation from that there had been an oceanographer they had out to look at the area who confirmed that that would have happened. I also pulled cards that show that something may end up coming to his mother in the future. There might be some findings of remains. I don't know. And I don't think it would definitely would not be complete from what I saw, but there might be some evidence of him that could surprisingly be located or found around the area where he was last at. I think it would become uncovered. And I get a male, a king of wands, that may come across something. Um, so there could be a man, an adult male, that may end up coming across some evidence later, and it will give his mother answers. I think that, that's the feeling I got. So I just wanted to share that reading. And I have my live Sunday um, at 3 p.m. Pacific time on the coast of America, West Coast. So if you're interested, please tune in. You can ask personal or political question, doesn't matter. Um, and usually I take up to about 13 questions, and I have to stop it there because that will run the live into about 2.5 hours to maybe even 3 to get through all those questions. So I try and be generous. Anyway, tell me what you think. Um, I just wanted to share that. So that was my reading on um, this young lad. I'm sorry, Owen Harding from Yorkshire, Saltdean, missing March 26, 2020. All right. Thanks. Thumbs up, please.